It's called Capitol Hill. It's a neighborhood in Seattle. Very young makeup of people, probably the youngest neighborhood in Seattle. Average age is probably between 25 and 35.
My God, I cry out to you.
We're starting a new church, and that's how Dave Kraft has helped us and helped me to hone that vision of, what do we do with this new church and what does it look like in this place of Capitol Hill where the church has been so negligent and absent for so long.
So he's planning a church right in probably the worst part of town, where you have prostitutes and pimps and drug dealers, people sleeping on the sidewalks. You have to step over them at night. They're just all over the place up there.
The people of Capitol Hill are really challenging the church to come and just be their friend. They really don't believe that can happen.
And that's his ministry. He invites those people. He goes down and talks with them on the street. He visits an alcoholic rehab facility where he has a Bible study with some of these people.
You have several subcultures here, the rich, the poor, the homeless, the sexual orientation that's all over the spectrum. And so people pick and choose from all these different subcultures. And so that makes it interesting when you come to bring a gospel and you have to translate it into a way that they can understand. In essence, every person you come in contact with is a new culture.
You made me trust in you
We're training missionaries. We have people scattered throughout the city, in schools, in workplaces, that I myself would never be able to reach. I probably couldn't communicate with those people because I don't understand them. So if we can teach our people the gospel and then the loving compassion it takes to translate that to people where they're at, we've just created a whole lot of new pockets to speak the truth. There's a house we're going to be driving by named New Vision, and it's an alcohol rehab house. And it's a house of 30 men. Many of them have families, wives, kids. And several of them started coming to our church. One young guy, he's 22 years old. He had been living on the street for a couple of weeks, had been kicked out of the Navy, hadn't been sober for a long time, just can't get off of alcohol and drugs. Just amazing devastation to this kid's life.
Early on in the morning, I wake up to the morning.
Daniel has been there 17 months now, hasn't had a lick of alcohol, no drugs. He is coming now. He's a very important part of our church.
I went to his church in November of 2001, and I just came up and shook his hand. And I kept coming back to the church.
Daniel's still learning and growing. He's now in basically Bible school through the New Vision program. And
3-4 months later, I came over here for a barbecue, and then ever since then, we've just been hanging out all the time.
He and I spend every Wednesday together. I study my sermon, he goes over his homework, and then we just talk about life and how this stuff is relevant to what we're doing. And
he is my pastor, which is first and foremost important, but he's also one of my best friends. And I don't know too many people that have the opportunity to be close friends with a pastor. And to me, that's pretty amazing, just to hang out with him and play pool with him.
And I really, down the future, see this kid being one of the leaders in our church. As a result of him and some of the other guys, we've actually now put a Bible study from our church into that house.
I think I'd like to minister to drug addicts and alcoholics, because that's where I came from. And God delivers you out of things to make you stronger in those areas, to give back in those areas.
Now he's relying on taking that same compassion and love that he sees in a church and putting that to work in church and with the people in the community. And even back at the alcohol recovery house, I mean, those guys haven't experienced it either.
And I think that's the whole Navigator vision. I think we're going to be surprised when we get to heaven and see all the hundreds of thousands of people that we had no idea that were changed and brought to life in Christ because of somebody that we personally invested in. And that's the thing that motivates me and keeps me going.